do you get so quiet? That's mean you guys have plans for a setup in this situation here. Yeah.
So, good morning. So just to address running back first, we expect to have Raheem and Devon on Thursday.
Raheem, no. Devon, we'll see how it plays out today. Thursday night games are probably it probably should be your triggering point, Barry, because like I don't, like you gotta you gotta realize what is today. Today is Wednesday, right? Okay. Guys are just typically we don't even have when we do have padded practices, we don't even have them till Thursday, because typically after an NFL game, Wednesday, guys are still working through their ailments from the game previous. So it will. There's several guys that will be feeling out and go from there.
Mike, I asked you about this at the owners' meetings with Tyreek and his off-field adventures, and had you guys talked to him about them? Have you talked to him after this latest episode, and what was the response, if you can share any of that with us?
Meaning like what?
At the incident at the marina and the incident with the social media influencer, just the things that he's gotten into off the field. Have you talked to him about try to straighten up or anything like that?
Well, no, absolutely. I talk to these guys about everything that occurs, good and bad. I talked to Tyreek about all the days that he's not in the headlines, because there's a lot of those too. So and I think it's important to just as people, and in my role where I'm trying to find every way to squeeze out max all the potential in a human being. The name of the game is growth, and I think a lot of times it is what it is. Like you're held accountable for the things that people know, and when you are in the headlines in any negative way, that's everyone's timeline. That's fair. However, there's much more to that. Sometimes there's while you're taking a lot of steps forward, there's a step back, and we talk through everything so that we can be our best versions of ourselves, which I think Tyreek is a different human being than when I first met him. Just continues to evolve, and I think that's the nature of a lot of guys' journey right now.
What was your reaction to the body cam video?
Yeah. I think I'm like emotioned out. So I'm gonna try to use words that don't. I just enough people have seen me cry. But there was that. There was. It's not. It wasn't shock. It was sadness. Right when you see it, and then in the for an hour or two afterward, what was that, Monday night? Spent time talking to some players on the phone, and then spent some time talking to some staff members that I knew with our history together, that had experienced similar things firsthand, and yeah, you just don't. It's not shock, but sadness for sure.
Coach, now that you've seen the video, Is there anything you think Tyreek Hill could have done differently in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, there's always things you can do. You know, I think that's we are conditioned here, and what we talk about every day is things that you can improve upon. You know, and I think it's important to say that. I mean, that's a totally separate conversation than I think should be the one focused on at hand. But for sure, and absolutely, those things are that's the first thing you do when you're talking to an individual directly, and then but you know I think the a conversation about what provoked unnecessary is trivial to the unnecessary.
Raheem, when did the chest injury occur during the game?
It was early and part of the procedure on our team. You know, the working relationship that I have across the board, it's very much need to know. And in a situation where, particularly running back, where we like to rotate, he was working through it during the game, and I've learned, honestly, might be the last guy I will ask if they're good, like because he's the, I mean, and quite literally, case in point, his injury. Not many people play with, so like the information that I get from him when I ask him, he's going to tell me he's good. But that it was he showed his tough. He just gave his teammates another example of how he's built different.
Is this an injury that is rest related, primarily for Thursday night's game on a short week, or is this an injury that could sideline him for a couple of weeks?
I would say closer to the former, but not ruling out the latter. But it's like right, you know. My sense is, you know that, you know, my sense is it's not something that time won't take care of. However, I'm definitely not going to make him worse by setting forth my expectations of when he's going to play again. Eichenberg is always okay, you know?
Mike, can you take us through your hoodie? Miami different. It kind of seems like the saying. What does it represent?
I forgot what I was wearing. And it happens to be it's just black on black, but it's a T-shirt. And I think I don't know. The early attachment I made in life, from my vantage point, was greatness is inherently different. So if you're trying to win more than you lose, if you're trying to do something, you know, that maybe the organization hasn't achieved in maybe 24 years, if you're trying to stand out in the world, I think different is analogous with you know, everybody that's achieved anything is inherently different than the rest of the population. So I think leaning into that, I think creating our own standard for what we think our football should look like, creating our own standard for how we treat each other, and how we go about our brand of football. I think Miami, the Miami Dolphins, the wordplay Miami different, all of it plays a part of it, but it's something that I kind of have to lean into because have you seen me? You know, I mean, so it's something that I think that describes the way our group of players, coaches, and the building, what they're attempting, what they're working towards, is to be different.
Team issued shirt or team produced shirt?
Team produced shirt. This was I generally allow all information to come at me before we start doing design shirts, and I think this might have been a 3 a.m. Tuesday, this past Tuesday or the Tuesday previous, to get it done before our first game.
Going back to Tyreek for a second, we could hear him in the video saying, I just had surgery on my knee, and kind of alluding to some discomfort he was in. What can you share about any surgery he's had, or if he's expressed to you in the past few days of any discomfort that he's been in?
No, minor procedure that, he makes sure that he takes care of and keeps out of compromising positions as best he can control.
Was that before the season?
Yeah.
In the off season?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Zach Sealer, sorry, it was off season. I had to send the
Oh man, can somebody send me a screenshot of that tweet so like I can see it, like, because I was a part of it, sort of. I felt it. I felt the keystrokes.
Zach Sealer, he said it's time to take the East. He said it's time to take the East. Let's go for it. I'm gathering that with this being Bills Week, you embrace that theme and that.
I'm sorry. Kid, I get the question again. The mid question camera raise while I make what. Like, no, it just spooked me, but I get it. No, go ahead, and I just wasn't prepared for it. I can do it again. And listen, you're trying to capture the beginning of the answer. I got it.
So, Coach McDaniel, Zach Sealer said yesterday, it's time to take the East. Let's go for it. I'm assuming that with it being Bills Week, that's a theme and a mindset that you embrace and endorse.
Yes. If you want to do anything in this league, generally, you can't skip over the much mandated step of winning your division. And there's one team that's won the division consecutive years that you could say that they by de facto own the division until somebody takes it from them. So that's just, I think it's pretty obvious. But I think it's also something that they have earned, and we would like to be in a situation where we earn the same thing. And there's one way to do that: you got to beat your division opponents. And we have our first of 6 division games. So
Between Jalen Ramsey and Jalen Phillips on the short week, could they play a similar snap count that you saw on Sunday? Could they have an uptick? Even have to draw back a little bit? Which one?
yeah, that is very much in all literal terms. So we're planning on the gray. We have to plan for uptick, same, or downshift. And in the short week, that's what's tricky, is you kind of don't know until they're at the stadium, So it just takes an extra layer of preparation that guys are definitely prepared for.
Thank you, guys.
All right.